So today I just wanted to have a quick chat to you about creating centres for flowers, whether that's a cone for a rose or another shape. I've got a little selection of polystyrene balls and bits here, just to show you. This one was a round ball like this one, and I've cut it in half, which I would use as a centre for something like a garden rose. And then I have a very large cone here, for creating very large roses and large flowers. And then you can purchase cones in all different sort of sizes, but I actually find a good way of doing it is just to buy these balls from eBay, and these come in a whole different range of sizes, more than the cones do, and they're a lot cheaper as well because you can buy big bulk packs for hardly anything, and they're really easy to just transfer into a cone shape. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. So I always use a glue gun, hot glue gun, to stick the wire into the ball. This is the most secure way of having a rosebud. If you make your own with flower paste, they're pretty secure, but I find this is definitely the most secure way with the hot glue gun. So the thickness of the wire will depend on the size of your rosebud, but as this is just for a spray rose, I've got a 20 gauge wire here. So I'm just going to insert that into the ball about halfway, just to mark where I'm going to place it, and then I get my hot glue gun, just put a little dab over where the hole is, and then just insert the wire in, and then that will just take a minute or so to set up. So whilst that's setting, I'm just going to show you how to make a rosebud or rose cone without using the polystyrene. So this is super simple as well, and I'm sure a lot of you already do this at home. So I'm just going to take a small amount of flower paste and knead it nicely together. And probably want it about that size, which is about a 2 centimetre ball roughly, and I'm just gonna roll it into a nice ball shape, and then once it's a nice ball shape, you can just pinch one end and start to form it round to form a cone. So I'm just pinching and shaping into a nice cone shape. And depending on what type of rose you're making, whether you have a wider bottom and a very narrow top, I'm going to go for this sort of shape. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to have lots of layers of petals over the top, but it just gives you a nice base to start from to create your rose. And I always insert a hooked wire into something like this. So I'm just going to create a little hook and dip that in some egg white, just a little bit, and then insert into the bottom. And the hook will just help it to stay on the cone. Just going to get a bit of corn flour. If it gets a bit sticky, then just use a bit of corn flour on your fingers to help close up the gap. And so if you didn't put a hook in there, you might find that the wire just comes out and gets loose. So the hook just helps to keep it nice and secure. So that will need a really good amount of time to dry. Probably leave it at least overnight. But now my glue is nicely set, so I'm just going to show you how to make a little cone for the top. So I'm just grabbing a bit more flower paste, and I only need quite a small amount. Just going to knead this. roll it into a ball. And then you just sort of flatten the bottom and start forming another sort of cone shape. So my fingers are a bit sticky, so I've just used a bit of corn flour. And before you stick it, just want to sort of check. See, I think that's a little bit too much paste, so I'm just going to take a bit off. And roll it up again. And then I'm just forming a bit of a cone shape. Let's have a play, check it fits. So that's probably going to be a bit better. So now that I know that's the right size, just going to add a little dab of egg white onto the end of my ball. And then just stick the cone on. And you can just sort of smooth the sides down. But again, not worrying about it being too perfect because it will all be covered up. And you can pinch it into as much of a point as you like. And I would leave this to set for at least a couple of hours before working on it, but it doesn't necessarily need overnight like the full cone.